All right, back to the heavy duty channel, and I apologize for not posting on here for a long time. We've been crushing it in the main channel and didn't have enough time to keep going. Kevin's had a relatively easy summer with not very many breakdowns. So yeah, actually we're already finished the Kenworth, as you can see. She turned out pretty nice. The paint polished up really nice, and yeah, that's not our truck. I kind of wish. All right, so funny story. We bought our truck off of a guy that lived 4 minutes away, and he actually had two of them. Him and his buddy were both gonna fix up one. Life got in the way and projects seemed too overwhelming, so he decided to sell one, and he was gonna use the funds to fix up the other one. My neighbor came over, saw an extended bunk cab over, and him being a trucker, wanted to check it out. One thing led to another, and he went and bought the other one.
I don't even have it running yet. This is embarrassing.
That's kind of mean. Looks beautiful, man. He keeps teasing me that I bought the wrong one because his fired up almost instantly. No smoke. Look at that. And how it's been working so far is we've just been trading parts back and forth, and I think ours is going to take a little bit longer to get back on the road. I'm pretty sure he bought the wrong one. I'm still pretty confident in our truck. Here we go. All right, so this was never the intent, but my good neighbor Phil Armstrong, he has this frame just sitting here, not doing anything. That is 4 feet longer. I think this is 220 wheelbase. Ours was only 180, I think, something like that. So we get that stretched look without the stretch. We could cut the frame and weld it, but it is a touch bigger. That means it's a heavier frame, and also it's got 46,000 pound axles rather than our 40, 38 maybe. Most people will stretch the frame. There's lots of videos on how to stretch a frame. We're gonna see about just putting the cab and the engine right onto this girl. Basically what we would do is unbolt this bracket here, and then the entire bracket that holds the front spring suspension and the cab over the hinge and everything gets bolted to this frame. Pretty exciting, because he also told me that you can tilt the cab right up and over, having the windows parallel to the glass. So if we just support the cab, you can basically unbolt it, roll the frame away, roll this frame ahead with the engine and everything in it, and make sure the holes are in the same spot, and bolt the cab back up to this. So Phil is going to move all his stuff and grab this and put it off to the side, and then we'll roll it over to our place. Don't know when that is exactly, but here we go. Neighbor Phil coming to drop off the new toy. My wife just loves this. Just more stuff coming in the driveway. It's great. Phil's taking the fuel tank. He's taking my bumper. We're getting a 20-inch bumper. Big visor for it. But for now, we gotta get this stripped and get ready for the sandblast. I think we'll knock the tanks off. These straps, I'll probably get new straps or polish those up. We'll see. Nice. I kind of want to roll this beside and tip the cab up and see if these brackets are the same, because this is a 94 with 370 rear ends, which is really nice highway pulling. Not great for dump trucks, which is what Phil's does most of his stuff with. We're looking to go long haul wherever we go. It's just get there as fast as we can. So we'll pull all this stuff out, probably pull most of the wiring off, because that is no good for us. It gets in the way of the sandblasting. And then battery box is junk. I think this one did go in a ditch. That's what happened. The steer tire let go and off into the ditch. but he said the frame was still straight, which is why he held on to it. That being said, here we go. Okay, so basically I'm just cutting everything out of the front. We're sandblasting this and painting it. Can't really have open holes, so either we have to put a bolt in there or we have to weld them shut, but we're probably gonna paint it before we move that other bracket over. I don't know if these holes are the right size. If they are, we'll have to move everything back, and we can weld in there. It's just gonna, we'll lob the front 2 inches off and have to move everything back, which kind of sucks, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there. So I gotta do this cross member on the bottom here yet, and the cross member that holds up the cab, and then everything else is staying. Pull the tanks off, pull the battery box off. We're just gonna weld one plate on the front here just so that they don't start flopping around. And then ready for the sandblaster. So here we go. All right, so I stripped the cab. Everything's looking really good. I gotta knock out all the torch bolts until we got a nice clean bare frame. All these brackets will get pulled from that truck and get bolted back in place. I hope these holes line up. If they don't, we'll have to move everything back just slightly. I gotta pull these hoses out yet, and then move it to where it's gonna get sandblasted, and then get to stripping that cab right away. Gotta pull everything off of there. So everything's in really good shape. Really happy with everything so far. And we'll see what the blasters do tomorrow. And here we go. All right, so I got the frame ready to get sandblasted. Now I gotta strip this cab so that they can blast that tomorrow. I'm gonna start by taking this latch off because it's locked. I don't have the key for it. And these are rusty, and I don't like rust. It's no good, so we buy a new one. Here we go. Now this is where we find $10,000, because Phil says he bought the right truck and I bought the wrong truck. But if we can find 10 grand in here and US crisp dollar bills, then I'll feel better. I'm just kidding, I'm very happy with the truck. Oh, no cash? Alright, now we got this, which we don't need. Some rope, at least it's dry, and some rusty caps. Nice. Almost 10 grand. 150 pounds. All right, let's rivet that back in again. Bam, done. Nice. Okay, we're out of the way. The sun is right here. Slowly going, covering everything up. Splash some paint on it. See you guys in the morning?
Yep.
All right, see you guys. I think those containers work good for measuring 2 to 1 because you just make a line on it, measure it with the tape measure, and then because they're perfectly cylindrical, they match pretty good. We got our Princess Auto special gun, nice and cheap. We usually use one for a good paint job, and then clean it, and then use it for the primer on the next one. So we're moving right along. I don't think they sent me enough reducer, but should be enough just for this job. Put a couple coats on there. The sun's just going down now. Life is good. Okay, got her done just in time. Dry to the touch. Of course, not really thick paint on there either because I didn't get enough primer, but this stuff is all kind of tar. Those aren't runs, those are the leftover tar. I can probably scrape that off, just hit that with a spray bomb and then go from there, but really happy with that. Probably missed some spots, find them in the morning. I did get a couple runs just on the other side. And look, we're still in the sun. And this is now dry to the touch too. That primer dries so flippin' fast, unbelievable. So we can move this out of the way now, and then get the cab in here, which is there. I still got a few things to take off, but I'm in good shape there. Oh yeah, there's some runs. That was me, I'm not gonna lie. This side, I just got runs in there and a little bit on the inside of the frame. And then that's more tar. So I'll scrape those off and hit them with spray bomb, and then I can leave room for fresh runs in the actual paint. Nice. Really happy with that. There we go. Right, we're with CNC Dustless Blasting. These guys have actually done a couple jobs for me already, but those aren't out on video yet. So we'll interview you again like it's your first time. So they did the frame for me. You can see it in the back there. And now we're gonna do the cab. But the cab is aluminum, and actually around the windshield is all fiberglass, I just realized.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Interesting. But you're confident that you're not gonna warp it, you're not gonna damage it in any way?
Sure, fully confident. We'll figure it out. We'll just reduce the pressure and move a little quicker.
Okay, and what's the medium that you're using?
We use 3060 green grit recycled glass, and we can use any kind of media there is on the market. We just really like using the recycled glass.
Okay, so you do walnut shells?
Yeah, we can. Yep, for sure we can.
Nice. Right on, and you're out of Jarvis area?
Simcoe area.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
all right.
More down Simcoe area.
Right on. All right, we'll do one more fuel tank, and then I'll tape off the windows, just the rubbers. Everything else is stripped.
Okay.
How good are you, Chris? I think that's perfect. Keep going. Love it.
Okay, so how'd it turn out?
I think it turned out good. Turned out good.
Yeah?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, the other side was a little bit pop canny, but you think it was tweaked a little bit?
Yeah, I think it had been hit at one point in time and probably put a little pressure on that aluminum.
Okay.
But yeah, no, I think for all in all, it turned out good for an old truck and everything.
Yeah, so the roof is fiberglass, and so is the bottom little fascia there. And then even that turned out really good. So yeah, just a little bit farther away, but you can almost take like layer of paint off at a time.
Right.
Get the black off first, and then the blue.
Yeah, if you're really careful and paying attention, you can take a layer off at a time and see the layers that have been put on over the years and everything else, right? Old stripes and stuff like that too, right? So.
Right. So the myth of like you're creating too much heat, we kind of debunked that just by using the infrared gun. It's only 10 degrees warmer.
Right.
And then like people saying that you get like sparks in that when you see it at night. But what's your theory with that?
So our theory is we were wondering the same thing, why we were getting sparks from the glass, and so we put magnets in our funnel, and that's what it comes out with. So no matter what you're using, sand or glass or whatever, our thought is that there is metal shavings in it, and that's why obviously if you left the media sit on something, that it would rust even faster because those metal flakes are actually in the media.
Oh,
right.
Nice.
So
awesome. How do people get a hold of you if they want your business?
we're on Facebook, CNC Dustless Media Blasting.
So boats, cars,
planes, trains, automobiles.
Thank you very much.
All right,
appreciate it.
Yeah, always a pleasure, Rich.
Yeah, and then we'll get going on a design and then slip that back up again. So the trick to getting these cabs straight up and down, you just keep pumping, keep putting oil in it until it's straight up and down. As soon as you go over center, it goes backwards. So then you got to flip the lever the other way, and then when you pump it the other way, now it comes back down. See that? How cool is that? So once we go over center, it'll just start coming down on its own. There's the over center, and now it'll start coming on its own. Woo, that's exciting. Okay, so next day, first cold start because it's like around 10 degrees Celsius, which is like 40, 50 Fahrenheit. See how she starts. Because every issue that Phil had with his truck, we're having with our truck. One of the main things is that the clutch is rusted to the flywheel. So if I was to put the clutch in, it feels normal, but I can't get it in gear. So he suggested put it in gear with the truck shut off, and then put your foot on the clutch, and then bump it with the starter. So let it warm up. I just had to rev it a touch just to get the alternator working, get the batteries up nice and high, get it warm so it'll kind of turn over. And then if it breaks loose, we might be able to move it under its own power, which is the first time in 26 years. I keep saying that, but it's pretty cool. Okay, I don't even know what gear that is, but it'll... this is how to really ruin your starter. Okay, so clutch is toast, not a big deal. We're gonna yank the transmission out, put a 13 speed in it instead of the 10 because Phil has one on the floor that he said that we could have, and that's a much better setup for our frame. So We've done enough heat cycles to try and find leaks. If it's gonna leak, it's much easier to fix the repairs when the engine's out. Might still do the front and the rear main seal while we're at it. And then, yeah, let's tear it apart. Here we go. Okay, so trailer's looking good. Starting to get a little specks of rust here and there, and that's not good. So we're gonna splash some paint on it. Leaves are changing color, and it looks like it might rain. But I need to get paint on it. The rest of the week looks terrible. So we're gonna do what we can, and we're gonna splash some paint on it. Shouldn't take that long to dry. I think I got a couple hours and the temperature's right. So we'll blow it off. Got another Princess Auto gun and a new mask from Princess Auto, just so that we're nice and safe. And I don't have any chips in a while, but I got some a peek. But it actually worked out pretty good because there are lines on the inside here, and the bottom 4 is 4 inches plus 2 lines of reducer and 1 line of hardener, puts it up to here, and that's the perfect ratio, 4 to 1 to 2. So we'll mix the paint in there, and basically I'm just gonna splash the paint on it. I didn't have enough primer for the drive shaft because the supplier didn't give me enough hardener for that last time. Well, I might splash some paint on the drive shaft anyway, and that's future Rich's problem. We gotta do what we gotta do. Here we go. Well, that turned out really, really nice. Of course, I got a couple runs. It's really hard to, basically when you want to paint, you want to put a light coat on, and then you want to put a heavier coat on as it's getting tacky, and then as it's only a single stage, sometimes do a 3rd coat. But when you're doing all sorts of like little corners and stuff in here, you're basically aiming your gun with as little spray, as small spray as possible in the corners, and then you'll inadvertently get paint everywhere else, and then you just have to top that paint off. But basically you get a run on the top here because you're trying to aim it in the corners. You just get overspray, and the overspray leads to a run. And then you still miss spots, like underneath there. So you go on a creeper and you look underneath and try to get all the spots that you're missing from a different view. As soon as you look underneath, you get a different view. You want to paint it, but you got to hit the bottom of this, the bottom of the bolts in that too, because otherwise you're painting like this, you don't get the bottom. When you're painting straight on, you don't get the paint on the bottom of the bolt. So you got to go around the bolt without getting a run. Lots of fun. Definitely not a car, and it never will be. That's why we send projects like the Bronco and the GTO off into controlled environments with professionals who do this for a living. But I am happy with how that turned out. So now we can start replacing airbags because they're all cracked and chafed and whatnot. Do the brakes, check the slack adjusters, pull the 5th wheel off because I gotta replace this brace underneath. Well, maybe I don't need to. I don't need to pull the 5th wheel. I'll just pull that brace. And then we paint all the little pieces that we miss next time. Still have to paint the holders for the tank. I don't know what color we're doing those just yet. So, but that's it for today. It's actually Sunday, and sun is still shining, barely, but it's time to watch some football and have a coffee. Here we go. All right, so we need some rims for our brand new tires, and good old B&R. These can go on the inside because we can get some new ones for the outside, but actually 2 of these that they have are actually in really good shape. They're not pitted or anything, so I can probably polish these 2, save $400 a rim, $500 a rim, and then just get 4 for the back. So I gotta get him to get me 2 more on the inside. 11R22.5. So it's been 18 years since I broke down my last tire, so I'm probably a little bit rusty. So we'll practice on the inside dirty ones first, and then hopefully I don't beat the crap out of those ones. So air's out of them, here we go. And we only have 1 tire there. That's not good. I can't even believe that this steel plug came out of that aluminum pipe just like that. And man, does that coolant look good. Never replaced it anyway because it's 30 years old, but I'm happy that it's green. Okay, so a couple things. You just loosen the bolts on the bottom of the radiator and then take the bar out and then ratchet strap it out. That'll tilt it out of the way. We gotta go straight up with the engine. 2 main bolts on the front of the engine, 2 on either side on the bell housing, nothing on the transmission. Marked every line where it went. The wiring was the big one. My air lines are gonna be a big one after that. I didn't mark these, but that was the last ones I did. Other than that, took everything else off on the top, and I think that we don't need the extension. I think I can do it on those 2 forks. I'll throw a couple chains on there, pick it up front and back. Most of the weight will be on the back because of the transmission, but we'll see what happens. Yeah, not too bad. A little bit behind schedule. It's late afternoon now. Sun disappeared, probably hinting towards rain tomorrow. We got 1 cat running away already. Bye, kitty. And 1 cat coming up. Here we go. Shit, it's too heavy for the side shift. My fan is gonna hit. That sucks. So I can try and turn and drive, but then I start going crooked. It's never easy, is it? That's hitting there just a touch. It will go over. We can go between there for a bit. Then we go much tighter. See what happens. That's about all that forklift can do, I'm sure. Thanks, Kevin. We'll pressure wash it off one last time. I don't know if I can get paint on it today yet, but it will at least hose it off. So here we go. Foaming spray, love this stuff so much. All right, pretty good day actually. Beautiful sunrise. We got a beautiful sunset. I don't know what the weather's gonna do tomorrow, but I ran out of time to do it today. It was actually a really smooth day, other than me putting the camera on the back of the forklift and then proceeding to drive over it. There goes $1,000. It was pretty smooth. I didn't die, so that's good. We got everything washed off. I already got soaked, so I already showered. I'm just gonna let this thing dry off outside for a bit longer. We'll put it inside and then get ready to paint it tomorrow. Here we go. All right, so we've got compound P pump 24 valve Cummins, 3126 cats and trucks. We've got a tank with 2-stroke Detroit in it. We've got a 4-turbo LS race car. But there's something about this engine that just kind of draws me in. And I don't know exactly what it is, but this is just a nice feat of engineering that does everything an 8V92 would with less fuel and noise and lasts way longer. So I'm excited to get this thing in there. We're gonna pull the transmission off this morning and then see if I can pick it up with my forklift so I can bring that thing back and splash some paint on it. Here we go. painted and tucked away temporarily while you have to go back on the other channel and look at the F350 build. Once this cab is back on the F350 frame, we'll roll the cab in from outside, unhook it from the frame, and hook our freshly painted frame up to it. The engine's painted. We're gonna go to V&R since they have a hose assembly shop and replace all of these cracked weather-beaten hoses, and then that will look really good black. I always like a little bit of black and yellow. Everything being yellow is no good. I don't think we're gonna take the exhaust manifold off. I painted it, but it'll just burn off and look rusty and black anyway. Every exhaust manifold that I've painted with heat paint, it just turns black anyway. So once we have all the hoses and everything replaced, we'll probably do front main seal on this one and the rear main seal. We're gonna pull the clutch off and get some new parts for it, but we'll be getting those parts sorted while we're putting the cab on the frame. Can you be quiet, pup? I'm trying to film. From here on in, every repair on the transport truck and on the tank will be on the heavy duty channel, and all the driving will be on the main channel. All the F350 and that will continue as always on the other channel. So thanks for sticking around, guys. And remember, if you're not filthy, you're not rich. So go out there and work on it. All right, puppy, you ready? Here you go, go get it.